What's up, Kolyoko Nation? It's time to react and respond to all your hot takes from MMA Twitter. So, let's just go ahead and get into it. So, to start off the video, we've got a reply from Ben who says Leon will hold on to the belt until he retires. I like this take, to be honest. Some people might think this is a hotter take than I do. I think it's a little zesty, maybe, but not that far-fetched, especially depending on when Leon wants to retire. I mean, Leon really only fights about like 1.5 times a year, right? Like, not quite two, but like more than once, you know? So, at that pace, and then also the pace the welterweight division is moving at, I could see him keeping the belt for a long time. I mean, Bilal is probably next for Leon, assuming he beats Colby, and then Leon would definitely beat him. So, yeah, I don't know. But then also, depending on how much Dana hates Bilal, Shavkat could be next over Bilal. But regardless, I think by the time Leon gets through both, would probably be into 2025. Most definitely be into 2025. And by then, who is he fighting, right? It's like, okay, Gilbert is like 37 now. By then, he's going to be fucking senile. JDM is near a title shot by then, maybe. But even then, I wouldn't really take him over Leon, just stylistically. And although I do think that JDM is better than Ian Gary, I would say he matches up against Leon better, just stylistically. But even then, I would still take Leon over him, too. So, this one isn't that hot of a take, just because of how, like, the division is and what kind of a champ Leon is. If this was, like, bantamweight, then that would be kind of insane. But I would give this, like, a 20, 30, maybe, yeah, 20 to 30% chance of happening. Like, not high, but, like, I wouldn't be surprised either. Next, J-Rap, aka the GOAT, says that Sugar Sean O'Malley will defend his belt at least 3 times. This one isn't very hot either, in my opinion. This isn't the hottest take, alright? I can see this happening. Sean is probably fighting Cheeto next, who I'd definitely take him over. Then probably Marab or Old Man Henry, depending on who wins that fight, or if that fight even happens, right? I think either gets smoked, and I'm not even willing to get into that. I think after the Aljo fight, that should be common sense. Then we got Corey Sandhagen, who, striking-wise, a little more creative than Sean, but like a fourth as powerful, and I don't think he's doing anything that Aljo couldn't in the grappling department. So I see Sean probably getting a dominant decision over him, like a unanimous decision, a clear one. I think Sean probably doesn't KO him because of just like how elusive he is, but he probably like drops him a few times, and we get a decision where it's like, yeah, he clearly won. And by then, right, now we're like early 2025. Who is Sean fighting? Right? Probably like a Song, who I'd pick him over. Then maybe Umar. I'd pick Sean there too. So, as long as Sean sticks around in this division and doesn't go off to fight like Gervonta or like a crippled Volk, a crippled like 40-year-old Volk, then yeah, I'd say this has like a 75% chance of happening. I am a huge Sean fan though, but yeah, I don't think this one's a hot take, really. In my opinion, I think it's kind of a cold take. And next, Blonded says that Izzy only lost to Strickland because of being burnt out, injured, and having an off night. Prime Izzy destroys Strickland. This one is definitely a little hot, in my opinion. I've got a lot to say on this one, probably. This is probably going to be the one that I have the most to say about in this video. So I really think that, I don't know, I disagree with the idea that Izzy was burnt out or had an off night, and I haven't really heard about any injuries, or seen any evidence of any injuries. I haven't really been looking, but I just haven't heard about anything, really. So, anyways, I think, if anything, Strickland was more burnt out than Izzy could have been, Sean had been a lot more active. He's fought like 4 or 5 times in the last 365 days. He had just fought in July, as he hadn't fought since April. Also, if there was a time for Izzy to be burnt out, really, I would say it's the Pereira rematch after he'd just been TKO'd, because he was just as active then, and he was coming off a loss, and he came out there and he KO'd Alex. So, no, I don't think he was significantly burnt out, or at the very least, more burnt out than Strickland was, to where it becomes like an actual excuse. I also don't really think he had an off night, because other than the fact that he was losing, he looked the same as he has in previous fights. But regardless, the reason I don't agree with this one is because I don't think Izzy's loss was because of his physical or mental state going into the fight, as both looked like typical Izzy, to be honest. Izzy lost this fight because Strickland had a better game plan that countered Izzy's. The form Izzy was in wouldn't really have changed the fact that Strickland's game plan negated his, right? Strickland's defense and pressure gave Izzy nothing to counter and kept him against the cage the whole fight, where he couldn't do much. That being said, though, the other side of this is I do not really think that Strickland is like necessarily more talented as a fighter than Izzy, and if Izzy were to come into a rematch with a new and improved game plan that actually accounted for the holes that Strickland exposed, he could absolutely beat Strickland, right? I think this L did not come down to how much snap Izzy had in his shots or his emotions going into the fight. It literally just came down to like Strickland checking the leg kicks, Strickland using his boxing, and Strickland just being defensively responsible and pressuring. And there's no amount of realistic power or speed that Izzy's going to have that's going to change that. Good take from Blondie, though, an interesting one. Moving on, CSD Lunch 77 says that Volk beats Islam this Saturday. To be honest, I would love for him to be correct here, because if he were, it would be historical, one of the most impressive wins ever, right? No one's ever earned double champ status off of an opponent as high on the pound for pound as Islam is. However, I don't think he will be right, okay? Volk, with months to bulk up to 155, less time for Islam to rehydrate, and on his home turf, lost to Islam. Regardless of if you feel that was the right decision or not, okay? And I think that any adjustments Volk could make aren't going to negate the fact that Volk is probably not bulked up to 155 right now properly, and is probably going to have like the flabby mass rather than the muscle he's going to need to win this fight. Sort of like Holloway when he fought Dustin, right? It was like he's 155, but he's not 155 all muscle. He's a 145er with like just 10 pounds of fat added, right? That's how I feel Volk is going to look in this fight. Also, the fact that Islam's going to be way bigger, and the fact that Islam will be in his home turf for this one just kind of adds to that, but we'll see. I'd love to be wrong. Dior Jacket says that Gaethje deserves the next lightweight title shot over Charles. I understand this one, alright? On paper, Charles wasn't even defending against Justin or even Islam when he lost, so him getting a one-fight rebound for the title with Islam was kind of a nod from the UFC, right? Like, they realized that he deserved it, but on paper, he didn't, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if they just moved on and gave Gaethje a title shot, because it's a fresh matchup and he beat Dustin and Fiziev, who I both think are better than Dariush. So, yeah, this one isn't that hot of a take, to be honest. It definitely hurts my fucking soul, but it's probably true. The president of Brazil, João, says that Vitor Petrino will retire with more defenses than Chuck Liddell. No, I don't think he will. I mean, he definitely looked better in his last fight than he did in his first one against Turcali. That one definitely hasn't aged well, but no, he definitely isn't getting 9 defenses, especially today when the competition is way higher. Volk doesn't even have 9 defenses, right? I mean, even in a division like light heavyweight that's not, one of like the better ones, this just definitely is not going to happen, unfortunately. But, this is easily the hottest take we've had so far, so I appreciate it, Joe. Tony's Teep says that Arman Sarukian will become a dominant champ. I'm gonna say maybe to this one. He's pretty much good everywhere, right? Except for his defense, which is an especially bad weakness to have when your next biggest weakness is your chin. However, he's literally like 26, and defense is not impossible to improve on. We've seen a lot of guys who didn't have great defense, learn to defend better, especially guys that are older than 26, right? So eventually, I think he does develop good defense. I would bet on it. And as for his chin, I mean, like, Islam doesn't have the best chin either, but he's got fantastic defense, and he's the champ right now. So if he develops that defense, then it's definitely possible. So I'll give this take a maybe, but regardless, we're not going to find out for like 3 years probably. Big Will, aka Gorilla, aka the GOAT, says that Magomed Gajasulov is already a top 10 light heavyweight. I don't think so. I wouldn't put him over Volkan even. He's like number 9. I'm not confident in him beating Ryan Spann, who's number 10, or in Anthony Smith even. Although he's probably going to retire soon, so he's probably not even going to be in the top 10 soon. But still, he can definitely become top 10 one day, like 100%, but not right now, right? He's not top 10 right now. He needs to work on his cardio before he can even be in the consideration for that. And right now, I wouldn't even pick him over like an Alonzo Manyfields, who's not even top 10. But he's a great prospect right now. BSV, another GOAT, says that Justin Gaethje KOs Islam within 2. I don't really know how to feel on this one, to be honest, right? Either could win, and I wouldn't be surprised, really. Islam definitely isn't eating Justin's shots like Khabib did, but we've seen how great Islam's defense is, and of course his grappling is elite too, right? So if this does happen, you heard it from BSV first. To be honest, I haven't really done any research on this matchup, I haven't really thought about it that much, but when I do, I'll get back to you with a more detailed reaction to this take. And next, Bonk says that Bryce Mitchell will be top 5 one day. If you mean at featherweight, then yeah, 100%. A lot of the guys above him are getting old, like Calvin, Josh Emmett, or even Giga, who's like 34. And guys like Evloev, I would pick Mitchell over. And to be honest, Brian Ortega's top 5, so anything's fucking possible, I guess. If you mean top 5 pound for pounds, then I think Bach is out of his mind. Monrick says that Edson Barboza should get the featherweight title shot next instead of Topuria. Volk will become double champ after beating Islam. Then Barboza beats Volk at featherweight and lightweight to take away his double champ role. Then he'll retire perfectly. No, that's not going to happen. Volk says that Jamal Hill has a good chance to beat John Jones. If you mean prime Jones, then I'd say it's not impossible, but I just don't see it happening 99 out of 100 times. But if you mean like current Jones, back down to light heavyweight, then yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I probably would pick Hill, but like barely. John is only 35, which is crazy, but point being that at light heavyweight, that's not really that old, right? And John is just so invincible, I don't know, but we'll probably never see that matchup. Lorian claims that KSI knocks out Jake Paul and gets the McGregor fight. I don't see this one happening, just because I don't think KSI is a good boxer, and I hate to say that, but he's not. His hands, not that good. His footwork, straight cringe, but he has solid power, and he's athletic, right? But I don't see him beating Jake. Jake's genuinely a legitimate boxer at this point. He's not, like, good at a pro level, but he can definitely hold his own with, like, the mediocre pros, you know? So just like technically, he's just so far ahead of KSI. And honestly, his power is kind of underrated, right? I mean, like, KSI's got knockouts, Jake Paul's got knockouts, but I think Jake has them over better opponents, right? You know, Washed Woodley, I would put Washed Woodley over whenever, like, YouTuber KSI is knocked out. So, yeah, as much as I like KSI better, I think Jake's just objectively more skilled, and I also don't think that the McGregor fight would just ever actually materialize. Jay says that John Jones breaks Stipe's heavyweight defense record, and I don't see this one happening. According to what I've seen from John Jones, it just doesn't seem like he wants to fight after this Stipe fight, and I don't really blame him. He has nothing to prove, right? I mean, on a lot of people's GOAT lists, he's already number one. And winning this fight, whether you think it really matters or not, being with like how old Stipe is, how long he's been out, what happened in his last fight, right? On paper, he's going to get to say that he is the light heavyweight GOAT, undisputedly, and now he just probably, I mean, we'll see what happens, but he just beat the heavyweight GOAT. So, yeah, I mean, he has nothing to prove if he wins. But if he did stick around, that would also be hard. I mean, 5 defenses is a lot, and I don't really think he wants to, stay around when beating Stipe is all I think he really wants to do. Like, okay, so he wants to stick around for, like, what? Like, 5 more years, 4 more years to, like, beat Aspinall, Pavlovich, gone again, probably. Almeida, maybe even like a Volkov. I just don't think he really wants to do that at this point. He's 35. He's proved it. He's done. He can retire with peace of mind. So, yeah, I don't see this one happening. And, not to say that he beats all those guys, especially with how old he's getting and how much, like, mileage he has for someone his age. But, yeah, I just think the odds that he beats all 5 of them while he's getting older is just kind of low on his own, regardless of the fact that I just don't think he wants to fight anymore. And last but not least, Rengoku McGregor says that Kolyoko Nation is the best nation on MMA Twitter. To be honest, this is probably the coldest take we've had so far. In fact, I don't even think this is really a take. I think that this is just common sense. But, anyways, if you enjoyed watching, please subscribe. If you didn't enjoy watching, I kind of get it because this is the first of many videos. Kind of the second, really, but it's the first hot take one. I see how I can improve on it, and I will. So, be prepared for more. But, yeah, thank you.